1. According to adult learning principles, which of the following is the primary motivation for adults to engage in learning? A. To earn certifications and credentials. To solve immediate real-world problems. C. To please supervisors or instructors. D. To compete with peers in the workplace. 2. When developing a training curriculum for new occupancy specialists, what is the most important first step? A. Creating PowerPoint presentations. B. Scheduling training sessions. C. Conducting a needs assessment. D. Ordering training materials. 3. Under HUD regulations, what is the maximum allowable gross rent, contract rent plus utility allowance, as a percentage of area median income for a family at 50% AMI in the Housing Choice Voucher program? A. 30%. B. 40%. C. 50%. D. The payment standard amount set by the PHA. 4. Which learning evaluation method corresponds to Kirkpatrick's Level 3? A. Participant satisfaction surveys. B. Knowledge tests and quizzes. C. On-the-job behavior change. D. Organizational results and ROI. 5. When mentoring a new occupancy specialist, what is the best approach to providing corrective feedback? A. Wait until the annual performance review. B. Provide specific, timely feedback focused on behavior. C. Compare their performance to other staff members. D. Document all errors before discussing them. 6. An effective trainer using adult learning principles should A. Lecture for the majority of the session to cover all material. B. Avoid real-life examples to maintain theoretical focus. C. Incorporate participants' experiences into the learning. D. Maintain strict control over all discussion topics. 7. What is the primary purpose of using formative assessment during training? A. To assign final grades to participants. B. To monitor learning progress and adjust instruction. C. To compare participants against each other. D. To satisfy accreditation requirements. 8. Under HUD regulations, how often must PHAs conduct annual re-examinations for public housing residents? A. Every 6 months. B. At least once every 12 months. C. Every 18 months. D. Only when requested by the resident. 9. Which of the following is an example of active learning in occupancy specialist training? A. Watching a video presentation. B. Reading the HUD Handbook 4350.3. C. Role-playing a tenant interview scenario. D. Listening to a lecture on income calculations. 10. When a trainee consistently demonstrates difficulty with income calculations, what is the most effective mentoring approach? A. Recommend they find a different career path. B. Provide additional practice with scaffolded support. C. Have them memorize all HUD income inclusion rules. D. Assign them to shadow other staff indefinitely. 11. What is the maximum percentage of adjusted income that can be charged for total tenant payment, TTP, in public housing? A. 10%. B. 20%. C. 30%. D. 40%. 12. Which communication technique is most effective when explaining complex regulatory requirements to trainees? A. Using technical jargon to maintain professionalism. B. Providing information in multiple formats with examples. C. Reading directly from HUD handbooks. D. Avoiding questions to stay on schedule. 13. According to Bloom's taxonomy, which level represents the highest order of thinking? A. Understanding. C. Analyzing. D. 14. What is the statute of limitations for recertifying a family's income after a change in family composition in the Housing Choice Voucher program? A. Immediately upon notification. B. Within 30 days. C. At the next annual recertification. D. Within 10 business days of receiving verification. 15. When developing measurable learning objectives, what framework is most commonly used? 80, B, C, D. 16. Which of the following is considered an asset under HUD's income calculation rules? A. The family's primary vehicle. B. Personal clothing and jewelry. C. A second vehicle worth $50,000. D. Necessary items of personal property. 17. An effective mentor should A. Complete tasks for struggling mentees to ensure accuracy. B. Provide answers immediately without allowing problem solving. C. Encourage critical thinking and independent decision-making. D. Focus exclusively on pointing out errors and mistakes. 18. What is the purpose of a pretest in training evaluation? A. To eliminate unqualified participants. B. To establish a baseline for measuring learning gains. C. To fulfill documentation requirements only. D. To intimidate participants into studying. 19. Under fair housing laws, which of the following is a protected class? A. Income level. Familial status. D. Criminal history. When using case studies in training, what is the primary benefit? A. They fill time in the training schedule. B. They allow trainers to take breaks. C. They provide context for applying knowledge to realistic scenarios. D. They are easier to grade than tests. 21. What type of income verification is considered the most reliable under HUD guidelines? A. Tenant self-certification. B. Third-party written verification. C. Oral verification from employers. D. Documents provided by the applicant. 22. Which training method is most aligned with experiential learning theory? A. Reading assignments. B. Lecture presentations. Simulation exercises. D. Written examinations. 23. When addressing resistance to learning from an experienced staff member, the best approach is to A. Mandate attendance and threaten disciplinary action. B. Acknowledge their experience and connect new learning to their knowledge. C. Exclude them from training since they are already experienced. D. Focus training resources on newer employees only. 24. How long must PHAs retain tenant certification documents under HUD record-keeping requirements? A. 1 year. B. 3 years. C. 5 years after the family moves out. D. Indefinitely. 25. What is the primary purpose of summative assessment? A. To guide ongoing instruction. B. To evaluate total learning at the end of instruction. C. To identify learning disabilities. D. To motivate students to study harder. 26. Which of the following assets is exempt from the calculation of annual income from assets? A. Savings accounts totaling $6,000. B. Stocks and bonds worth $10,000. C. Cash value of life insurance policies. D. Necessary personal property, such as furniture. 27. An effective training environment for adult learners should be A. Competitive and challenging to push performance. B. Formal and structured with no deviation from agenda. C. Respectful, comfortable, and psychologically safe. D. Focused solely on content delivery without discussion. 28. What is the minimum amount of assets that triggers the requirement to calculate income from assets? A. $1,000. B. $5,000. C. $10,000. D. $15,000. 29. When providing feedback to trainees, which approach follows best practices in adult education? A. Public correction to set examples for other learners. B. Delayed feedback provided weeks after performance. C. Specific, constructive, and private feedback. D. General comments without specific examples. 30. Under Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Regulations, what is the maximum initial lease term that can be required? A. 6 months. B. 12 months. C. 18 months. D. 24 months. 31. Which instructional strategy is most effective for teaching complex regulatory compliance procedures? A. Memorization of all regulations. B. Chunking information with practice and application. C. One comprehensive training session covering everything. D. Self-study without instructor guidance. 32. What is the purpose of EIV, Enterprise Income Verification, in the verification process? A. To replace all other verification methods. B. To provide an additional tool for verifying tenant income. C. To eliminate the need for tenant-provided documentation. D. To report tenant information to credit bureaus. 33. According to andragogy adult learning theory, adults learn best when A. The instructor maintains complete control of the learning process. B. They are graded against their peers competitively. C. They understand the relevance and can apply learning immediately. D. Content is theoretical rather than practical. 34. Which document serves as the primary source of regulations for HUD multifamily housing programs that certified occupancy specialists must follow? A. Fair Housing Act guidelines. B. HUD Handbook 4353-1. C. Section 8 Housing Quality Standards. D. Local Housing Authority policies. 35. When a family reports an interim change that will decrease their rent, within what timeframe must the PHA process the change? A. Immediately upon notification. B. At the next annual recertification. C. Within 30 days of receiving complete documentation. D. At the PHA's discretion, but no later than 90 days. 36. Which of the following is considered an allowable deduction when calculating adjusted income? A. Credit card debt payments. B. Childcare expenses that enable a family member to work. C. Car loan payments. D. Personal loan interest.